Win $100,000 monthly with Sleepy Sanitary Pads. Sleepy Sanitary Pads are all natural and are made with cotton and bamboo fibers. It is dye and lotion free, hence no irritations or rashes. Sleepy Sanitary Pads are available in two sizes, ultra thin and thick. It is affordable and available nationwide. See press for details. Visit our Sleepy South America Facebook page or call us on 233-2473.
Yes, good afternoon. Welcome to the Wake Up Guyana show here. Right into it, right into your face here. Coming from Kaieteur Radio here on Saffron Street, Georgetown. It's a little the wet outside, so be very careful on that road. So wherever you are, whatever it is that you're doing today, I want to say welcome to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I want you to feel that welcome because it's always good to have a very positive attitude. Came into the studio, just had a few hours rest this morning. And so, guess what? It's just about 3 hours, but I have a lot of energy because there's so many things to do today as we move forward in this beautiful country of ours, as we move forward with the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio. So many things to talk about today. We're going to tell you that the Region 5 distribution of the COVID-19 $25,000 has started. We are going to bring you some details with regards to that. Somebody called this morning and wanted to know about pension books in Region 2. I'm going to tell you a little bit that. And Milesboro, Pomeroon, you guys would have been asking about assistance for the flooding situation in the Pomeroon area there. I'm going to tell you that the government says that they're assessing the situation, they're aware of it, and so they're coming probably with some help for that area there. So let's get right down to it. This is the Wake Up Guyana show with your host Leonard Gildarie here on Kaieteur Radio, and we coming to you live from our Saffron Street studio on 99.1. If you're in Esquimalt and Demerara and in Berbice, you could get us on 99.5. If you're overseas and you want to catch us, you could either get us on Kaieteur News Online. There's that little icon, the radio icon there. You could press that, or you could get us on Kaieteur Radio on Facebook or Kaieteur Radio live stream right on YouTube. So we're going to get down to it in a very short while. Just over 1:30, I have a special guest for you. I think most of you would know Niaz Saban. He is a commissioner for the Ethnic Relations Commission. He's also former head of the, I think it's either DPI or NCN, the state-owned media company. But I think he's back there. But more importantly, we're not interviewing him or we're not having a chat with him with regards to those positions. We're talking to him because he has written a book which he's hoping to get published. And that book was something that we discussed yesterday on a topic, depression, and also on suicide. And here it is, somebody that's very prominent in society coming out, and we're not afraid to talk about it. I did talk about it a few instances of how suicide would have affected my family a couple of years back, 6, 7 years back, and it struck right home with me. And suicide and depression, how it has affected Niaz Suban, and we are going to be joining them at 1:30. It's always good to talk something, but topics that a couple of men and a lot of people would just brush aside and say that's for mad people. Those are for people who are weak. No, 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 no. It could even happen to very, very strong people. It is something that you have to get over. And how do we fix it? How do we deal with it? These are things as we go forward in this beautiful country of ours. These are topics: mental health, domestic abuse that we'd have to deal with in a big way, safety in your neighborhood, the quality of education in school, in the schools. Could we talk about our pensions? There's so many things that has to do with our quality of life in this beautiful country of ours. So wherever you are, whatever it is that you're doing today, we are going to get right down into it, because today I want to, like every single day that we're here, 5 days a week, we want to share with you, open those lines so you could be able to tell us what is bothering you. Maybe you could comment on situations that are happening in Guyana, because this show, the Wake Up Guyana show, is about you. It's not about us here. So we head straight over to our favorite newspaper, Guyana, largest selling newspaper here, the Kaieteur News. It's been around just 25 years, and has it taken a place in the hearts of the people of Guyana. It is not. It's not catering to a constituency, but to all Guyana. It protects Guyana. It takes on Guyana. So this is what the newspaper is saying today. Sister company of Kaieteur Radio. Killer confessed to wife's murder. Police sent him away, and this would have been shocking murder of this man who stabbed his wife, and she was said to be a case of a woman who went very early in her years, stuck up a relationship with this gentleman or this man from Berbice. Was killed over the weekend here. The man goes to the police station in Berbice there, and you should read it. And I am gonna probably have to, let me tell you what happened here, because it's interesting. The family was talking about her, and she died and leaving her 2 kids or so. So Kaieteur News was also informed by the relative that the suspect went to the Blairmont police station. This was the West Berbice area, and confessed that he had just killed his wife. But the police sent him away because he was drunk, and his brother was behind him. And his brother was just behind him, tracking him to see where he was going. After he came out the station, the brother took him back and told the police what happened. So this is a very shocking thing. A man walks into the police station and says, "I've just killed my wife." The police said, "You're drunk, get out of here." So it sounds a little funny, but it's a very serious situation. It's an indictment on the level of security that we have in this country when it comes to police and so on. More training is needed there, definitely. So I think with this headline here, if I was a commander up in Berbice, in the east-west Berbice area there, the first thing that I would do this morning on seeing the story, if I did not know it before, was to call my ranks and have a chat to find out what happened here, and immediately take decisions to have some training, because it's obvious that the police don't understand their role, and some training is needed in this area here. And we will be speaking a little more later about domestic violence and violence against women, because that's something that's continuing to really affect me and send me into a different realm altogether, that we are so cavalier about our attitude when it comes, to our partners, our women, our partners right across Guyana, be you a man or a woman, is killing somebody, is hurting somebody physically, the answers to our problem. Why is it that we don't have an alternative, like maybe go your own way, move on, get out of here? The main headline in Kaieteur today: $20 billion owed to Exxon by 2025. Guyana will be stocked with a never-ending stream of payments. Christopher Ram, and there's an accountant as well as a lawyer. Christopher Ram has been an advocate for Guyana for a little while. And he's saying here, after it was learned that by 2025, the bills that Exxon is handing to us for development in the Starbuck block is going to amount to $20 billion. And therefore, he says we are going to continue to pay through our noses. And the story that's coming out there is that there's a lot of bills. Don't believe that it's right away that you're going to have this windfall that is going to be there. For this entire year alone, Exxon has continued to produce oil, and we have a measly $150 million. Is it measly? Well, that's up to you, depend which way you're looking at it. When you look at the volume of oil that you have there, oil and gas, So over 9 billion barrels and oil equivalent that we have in our Stabroek area. And talking about that this morning in the Kaieteur block, which is the one of them that they drilled a well. It's adjoining that block and which is on the controversy at the moment because of the fact of the way that was given out, and what is coming out now is pointing to some highly questionable methods that was given out, and who are the people that received it, and who are the beneficial owners. So there was a well that was drilled there, and coming out of it, there was some heavy oil, and the heavy oil is not good for commercial activities. So that's not good news at this point in time. So Exxon will have to go back as the operator for that block there, the Kaieteur block also have to go back to the drawing board and see whether it can see some other areas, prospective areas that it could drill. So that is the news that's coming out with regards to the oil. Guyana will be stuck with a never-ending stream of payments. Christopher Ram. BK wants government to review termination of $827 million school contract. And this is another company, again, that seems to be in the news forever when it comes to the way it handles contract, collecting millions and millions. Why do we keep making the same mistakes over and over and over? That we have one bunch of contractors that keep giving us the middle finger, and I'm not saying anything that is worse than that. They keep giving it to us every year in, year out, every election cycle. One bunch of people that we cycle in, and they keep giving it to us, and we keep giving them the money for contracts, and they're not delivering. And why are you not blacklisting them? Because somebody's protected. And so this is a very $827 million. That's just about 4 million US dollars, just about there over. What can you do with that kind of money? My house cost about maybe $10-12 million when I built it about a decade back. Do you know how much that house is? So if it's 10 million US or 10-12 million US dollars, do the math. We could get 10 houses with $100 million. You start multiply that by 10. That's eight houses that we could probably have with 800 and something houses. That's what you could build. And if you want to go more low cost for somebody, for the poor people in Guyana, at the end of the day, 827 million is a lot of money. I just want to put it in perspective for you guys to know, so we can have our understanding when a contractor, when people do that to us and take our taxpayers and they misuse it. These are the kind of things we start looking. What could we do with $10 million? When somebody steals $20 million, what can we do with that? Security guard GTI student among 4 nabbed with guns, with car with guns, and so the police received some information, went to Kitty, and they searched the car, and they found 2 guns. And when you find them with the guns and the serial number being filed off or it's no longer there, these people did not have any good intentions. Serial shooter on the prowl, and we are receiving reports here that somebody is shooting at people in the Escobar Coast there, and this person here would have received a shot, and they said that they have a suspicion that it is a serial shooter that's just targeting people, and then whenever this person finish, runs into the bushes, runs into the backnam and hide. So the police need to know what they need to do. They hunt him down, hunt that person down. It says a hooded figure, and some man is lucky to have escaped alive. He's shot in his back. That's the story. That's what the story is saying. Teen strangled this girl here, just in her early teens. Let me find out what the story is about. 16-year-old, and this is in the Bagdam, in Region 1 there. And you know that gold mine in Bagdam, and we seem to have been seeing over the last couple of years a steady increase in the number of crimes in those areas. If it's not a murder, it's somebody chopping somebody, somebody robbing somebody. What's happening there? What's happening, commanders, for Region 1, Region 7, Region 8? We seem to be having a runaway situation. Whenever somebody gets angry, they just pick up a gun, or they pick up a cutlass, and somebody ends up dead. In this particular case, the teen was drinking with her mom. They picked up some liquor, and she went home. And a man followed her, somebody that they were familiar with. Man disappears. They found the teen strangled. We're not sure if anything else happened with her, but here it is, another case. Another woman, another female that would have met her end in a very brutal manner. And we head down to the other story here. $1 billion Westminster School expected to be completed this month, and this after 2 years. And this is another school that took, we've seen delays and delays in projects. Why is it that we continue to do that? It is because somebody's not paying attention. Somebody fell asleep at the wheel there. Coalition files parliamentary motion for speedy probe into West Coast Berbice murders. And so you have the coalition and the opposition now taking stands. Over 400 pounds of imported dock meat seized. Why is it that we smuggle chicken and meat into this country when, people are buying it and thinking it's safe? I'm not saying this dock was not safe, but if you bring it into the country and taking steps not to declare it to the authorities, it means that something is wrong. Is either you're trying to hide taxes or the meat is not good. Whichever case it is, the people can be saddled with this. At the end of the day, we have to be very careful. We have to be assured that we're protected. As we move down, U.S. company signals interest in converting waste plastic to fuel. I like to see this story. More water, more Region 9 communities get water, and there are others that are getting. And this is an interesting story here that I was paying attention. Over 5,000 jobs lost between March and August, and this is coming from Minister Teixeira, and she's saying that they're trying to. This where the COVID-19 cash grant is coming in very, very helpful to people. Let us see where that goes. In the meantime, in America, the number of cases with the coronavirus is continuing to mount. There is a good conclusion now that the COVID-19 cases across the world, there is a second surge, as we've seen right across the world. More lockdowns. Several places are headed into a second lockdown, and so these are things that we have to pay attention as we move forward, as we try to protect ourselves. It is not an easy thing, and we seem to be going about life. In the meantime, we're going back home and we opening ourselves, our families, and so on. The little kids, and the old folks, the senior citizens, they're the ones who are paying the prices when it comes to being protected. They don't have any protection, and we are waiting right now. We're waiting right now for vaccines that are coming out. I think Russia has done one. I think 2 U.S. companies has already indicated that they are almost through with their vaccines, getting it ready, although it might be a little rush, but we'd have to pay attention to that. In the meantime, good news for the Berbice people, West Berbice. This is Region 5. This is Myconi, going up all the way there to Rosignol and so on, Blairmont. COVID-19 relief, distribution of the COVID-19, and it's coming from the regional RDC Region 5 authorities here. The $25,000 has begun the distribution this morning in Region 5. And according to Regional Coordinator Ryan Peters, 8 teams are fanned out across that region, starting at the Blairmont, Gelderland, NDC, while 6 teams are working in the Woodlands Farm, NDC area. And this is coming out from the Region 5 Information Department. And you see the folks there are there collecting it. So some photographs. These are things that I think the people would have been asking in Region 5 there. Now, somebody in Region 2 would have been asking very quickly before we move on to at 1:35 we are going to have Niaz Suman talking very quickly on his book on depression, suicide, because there's an issue that we have to discuss. We open the lines immediately after that. But somebody in Region 2 would have been asking about the areas that are, or when is it that they are sharing out old age pension booklets. And let me tell you, for Region 2, the Pomeroon area, it is Monday. Okay, let me see. I think it is Charity NDC for the catchment area. Those persons living in the New Road, Charity, Amazon, Pomeroon River. It's a Charity NDC office, and they would have shared Monday the 2nd, the 9th, the 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th. If you're living in the Pomeroon, up and lower Pomeroon, it would have been in the Pomeroon, the distribution center in the Pomeroon, and it's Tuesday, the 1st of December, 2nd of December, the 3rd of December. If you're living, let me see where else. Hoosdiren Primary School. This is the Vilvoorden, Middlesex, Pomona, Riverstone area hall. This is Monday, the 2nd of November. They would have been sharing there. If you're living in the Mashabo Mission, the Mashabo area, Itor ABC River. This is Sunday, the 8th of November. They would have done theirs. If you're living in Suddy, Amrinian, the distribution center is the Suddy Amrinian Hostel. And if you, this is for the folks that living in the adventure on the Neiman Suddy Maria's Lodge. And this is happening Tuesday, or it would have happened on Tuesday, the 3rd of November, and Wednesday, the 4th of November. You can go to the Ministry of Human Services Facebook page here, and it's all there. If you live in the Johannes Cecilia Zorg, Golden Fleece, Perseverance, Annandale, there's Annandale on the Escobar Coast, so Abramsville and Colin. It's a Dolly's shop, Golden Fleece, and this would have happened on November the 5th and the 6th already. Queenstown CBR Center is where you should go pick it up if you're living in the Lala Union, Queenstown, Zorgenvlot, I think it is, Westfield, Degerad, Hoof van Orich. And there's a lot of things that people don't know at Escape, a lot of Dutch names here. Monday, the 9th of November, and Tuesday, the 10th of November. Since last week, this happened. Kapui Lake is the entire lake area. You go on Sunday, the 15th of November, that's gone. I think. Okay, and then the last one very quickly, Taymont Manor School. This is in Region 2. If you're that's a distribution center, and if you live in a Taymont Manor, Fayance, Columbia, Aberdeen, Three Friends, that would have you would have gone there, and it would have been the 11th and the 12th of November. On the Ministry of Social Protection Bill and exhort to Guyana, Regina. If you're living in the Lake Mainstay area, Tapakuma Lake, Macnab, Lima Sands, Land of Plenty, Mainstay Village, Reliance, Bushlot, Cottonfield, Anna Regina, Henrietta, Richmond Hill, and that would have been Friday, the 13th of November, the 16th of November, 17th of November, the 20th of November, and of course, 1st of December for that. And the Lima Sands area, Lima Sands Primary, if you're living in the Macnab, Lima Sands Mainstay, Tapakuma, St. Denis Mission. This is 20th of November, the 24th of November. So if you're now joining us, it is the Ministry of Human Services that you would have to go to. Go to the Facebook page, get someone to go to it, and they're telling you all those little areas there. It tells you where and when you would have to go, if the time has passed, and how you could probably do it. So I hope that would have been helpful for you, and that we would have been able to give you that information. So a couple of things more before we move on to that interview just after 1:35 on suicide as well as depression with Nia Suban. And I must tell you that more people are complaining about the firecrackers and what it would have done to the animals. One person was crying on Facebook talking about that the dog died. Other persons would have been complaining that the animals escape and they can't see them for a couple of days now. Region 2 there. Let us talk about this. People are being sent away. I'm not sure what that is. The Patara area there, the mining, the ministry has been complaining there that it has been receiving reports. The reason why this is happening is because GGMC officers are not doing their jobs. They have to step up to the plate. We're hearing a lot of bribes being passed and being taken and things like that. Because how could you be mining on a very prominent river like the Pataro, one of the biggest river in Region 8, and not seeing an illegal mining activity taking place on the riverbanks here? According to the laws, the mining laws, you cannot be mining in a buffer zone. I can't remember how much feet it is away from the riverbank. And they say if they catch you doing that, you could lose your license and so on. So apparently people passing up and down, and this man continues merry way. He would have been served with cease work order, and then they go back and they continue mining. So somebody take picture, put it up on Facebook, and that was the end of that. The ministry then got into play. But I'm asking, where is the GGMC officers, Guyana Geology and Mines Commission? What's happening here? In the meantime, Marlborough area there in Pomeroon Region 2, I think Minister Damlal this morning told me that they are assessing that situation with the flooding and so springtide. Somebody complained yesterday, did raise those issues. One man did call me about some help, and I did pass it on to some of my people. We were trying to call you back, and you did not answer, so I'm going to call you back this afternoon, see what happens. In the meantime, it's 1:28. I'm going to ask my guy at the controls here to get hold of our people that we're supposed to be interviewing. And as soon as he gives a signal, we start that with Mr. Niaz Saban. But in the meantime, it's 1:28 here. And what we're going to tell you, I want you to start sending those messages to 62222, because immediately, as soon as I'm finished, I'm just going to take a couple of minutes with Niaz, Mr. Subandir, and we're going to open those lines. And then we're going to, the 2267453 is normal. That's the line that you call. You could send us your messages to 6222222. And today you should be very, very angry, because I want you to start. I want you to start opening up yourselves to let's start changing our attitude. Do not throw garbage around the place. Do not do anything that is going to allow people to think that it's okay to give a bribe, to allow our conductors, our drivers, whatever it is that they've been doing, that we continue to allow the tail to wag the dog in Guyana. And the tail that I'm talking about are like our politicians or minibus drivers and whoever else it is. Do not let them tell you how your country should be run, or your NDC leaders also. You tell them how you want it to happen. So it is right now. It is time to tell you about your insurance. And what do we have to tell you today? It's a better value for better protection. Get your ship and cargo covered with us today. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. at 121 Regent on Arnock Streets. To better serve you, you can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. Telephone 225-1787 or 269-0020. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. Do we have Niaz online? So we have Niaz online. Right now, we are going to make a connection with Mr. Niaz Suban. And I did promise you that over time, we are going to bring some topics up that may have been taboo in the past, that may have been issues that people don't want to discuss because maybe they find it not so manly, or maybe that's something, why are we discussing that? Let's discuss something more important. But they're silent killers. They could ruin your life. They could make you ruin your family relations. They could ruin your friends' relations. So many things, and things like suicide. And so I did tell you a couple of years back that suicide struck right at my home. Well, when I say my home, my family, my mom, struggling with depression for a very long time. Depression and suicide both linked all together. And so when you see people, you might very well see them and they all look happy, and then you wake up one day and then you heard that they have taken their life. It's not something that we take very lightly. We end up sometimes blaming ourselves. We get very angry with the survivors, get very angry with each other. Sometimes we blame ourselves, but it could be something that could be very easily treated, mean we could address it, we could talk to somebody, and there's so many things that we could do to make our lives better, but we need to not sweep it under the carpet. So right about now, I want to say welcome to Niaz Saban. How are you, sir? And before I hand the mic over to him, I must tell you that Niaz is a commissioner at the Ethnic Relations Commission. He's all been there. I think he's there right now. He's if you don't know him, you would recognize him from he's starred, I think, at least in one movie. He has been in several plays at the Natural Cultural Center. He has been in the media. He was a former parliamentarian. So I want to say welcome to you, Mr. Niaz Saban. It's a pleasure talking to you. It's been a while. How are you doing?
I am okay, Gregory. I want to thank you for inviting me in your program. I'm happy that I can be here and sharing your conversation.
Well, it's a pleasure. But let me tell you a little, because I did miss out a very important part, and of course, I am going to spring this on you. A couple months back, in the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, and why I bring this because it has relevance in my little opinion here. When we talk about COVID-19 and so on, you would find survivors. Niaz Saban is a survivor from COVID-19. Was in the early days, was in the institution for a very long time. I think almost 2 months. Am I correct, Niaz?
49 days.
49 days, and that's not no easy time away from your family and so on. But today we are going to be talking. I'm not sure if that's linked with what he has written, but he has written a book which he's hoping to get published, and it has to do with depression and suicide. And Niaz, I did tell our listeners, viewers over the last couple months that we would have been together about the struggles that I had. I stopped talking to my siblings for a couple of years. I was very angry with them. I blamed them for the suicide of my mom. So suicide and depression. And later on, I made peace with the fact that I believe that my mom had a depression. There was a lovely soul there. I think you would have known her for a little while. You came by my home a couple of times, but she was a very soft soul, and I think that the depression overcame her sometime or the other. But I'm talking here because I'm not too familiar too much with depression. I know that it's an issue that we have to tackle, and I'm not afraid to say that I don't know a lot, but I would want to say that depression and suicide in Guyana, it's a big thing that we had one at one point in time, been described as the suicide capital of the world. But I want to hand it over to you. Why a book on suicide and depression?
Gregory, let me first of all extend my condolences belatedly to the loss of your mom. And yes, I would have met your mom on a few occasions, and it is sad that that she would have succumbed by suicide. You asked what is depression. You said you don't know much, and we were all learning. I don't know much other than my experience. And when I wrote the book, I felt that it was something that needed to be done, not because of my own thinking, but because eventually when I sought help, and during the course of, if you would want to call it the therapy or the healing process to bring me back from that precipice where I was almost over that precipice.
Hmm.
And the doctor asked me, what are some of the things I like to do in my normal time? And of course, you would have mentioned theater is very big to me. And I told him I like to write plays. I would have won Best Playwright in 2013. And he said, well, write about my story, write about my depression, write about all my troubles that it would have brought upon me. Because he believed that one, it will be therapeutic for me. And two, there's a possibility it can help other people. In writing, Gregory, as I was coming towards the end, what I realized what was happening is that I was looking into a mirror. The book became a mirror.
Hmm.
And you mentioned a very important point just now that you probably would have not become you'd have lost your known identity per se. So you became erratic and you cut off relations with your siblings and all of that. But in the end, you went back and you realized, you saw things differently. But as I reflected on the book, I realized I was seeing myself in a mirror again. And I couldn't believe, honestly, I couldn't believe that I was in a such dark place. And I don't think the word dark can really explain how difficult it was. If you allow me, I'd just like to quote a sentence and how I personally describe depression in my book. It says, I saw it, I faced it. It's not a choice. It's a beast, overpowering with a beating heart, impatient and callously uncaring. It strangled me, but slowly I raised my brittle bones as courage imbued to confront that towering dark bully. Depression is a bully. It is a bully. And sometimes, if you were to use that analogy in schools, some children who are bullied may not want to talk about it. Many times they hide it. because they're not just fearful on telling their parents, but they're fearful of the reaction that they can get from the person who is bullying them if that person know that complaints are being made. So eventually you have to find courage to deal with that. You have to tell your parents or tell someone so that you can get help. And for me, depression is that bully that I couldn't confront on my own. I didn't have the strength. I had to get strength to find strength. And that's something I want to leave with people. You have to find the strength to get the strength to find strength to be able to stand up to that dark, overpowering bully.
I want to come directly to you, Niaz, and obviously there had to be something. You talk about a depression for somebody who doesn't know, and I think you would have done some work on it, maybe some research on that. What are some of the manifestations of depression that you probably experience, and how did that affect you, your relationship with others, maybe your immediate family and friends, and so on?
Well, there are various signs, and for different people, they may not necessarily manifest in a particular chronological order. But in my case, I'm generally a shy person. Those who know me very closely, but I became very withdrawn. I did not want to be involved in anything. Now, I was always teased that I suffer from televitis, meaning that I love television. I love to watch television. Even that I couldn't bring myself to do.
Mm-hmm.
I love Indian music. I play Indian music on a Sunday morning on a radio station. That I couldn't do. I was so sad. I was sad. I couldn't eat. All I wanted to do was lie down and close my eyes and shut everything out. Now I did that, but I could have only done that at times when I didn't have to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
So what made it very, very difficult for me was having to take all of those challenges that I was feeling, all that pain that I was feeling of not wanting to be involved in anything, not wanting to interact with people, not wanting to eat. But I had to go to work. I had to find that strength and go to work, and I had to find that strength to put on a smile. And as I told people in the process of what I was doing with this book, Gregory, for me, and this is just my personal view, the hardest thing for me, despite all of what I went through with depression, was trying to smile. To trying to, it was like if weights were locked on the muscles of my cheeks,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to repel them. I had to push them apart just for a smile to come, simply because I did not want people to know what I was going through. And I think I would have pulled on all my experience as an actor to hide that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I hid it for a very, very long time until one day a friend of mine who know me very well, and after a conversation we had, he called back and said, Niaz, I don't think you're yourself. You need to talk to me. And I started to open up.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it got to a point where, and I'm going to be very frank because we are open about this, and I really want to be open about this. It got to a point where I didn't want to live anymore. I just didn't want to live. And I searched for ways in my mind, how could I escape? Escape meaning getting 6 feet under. How could I do that? I thought about various things of what I can do, what would be easier, what would be swift, what would be painless, all those things. So my thought process was consumed with that. So I did not want that to be interrupted by people coming and say hi and how you're doing, or eating, or music, or TV, or work. I did not want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
The point I'm trying to make is that the weight gets heavier and heavier as time went by, because you still have to now put on that fake smile. You still have to physically do your work with all that weight on your back, metaphorically. And it drives you even further to try to jump off that metaphoric cliff and end your life. At that time, you're not thinking rational. You're not thinking about consequences. You're not thinking about how it affect people, your family, your friends, whatever the case may be.
And if I may, Niaz, your family did they notice, or were you able to mask your emotions? Did they see what was happening to you?
No, that was the first line of defense. I ensured that they did not know. I did not want them to know. So You can imagine how hard it was for me when I am home and I have young kids and they want attention. You know, you have a wife, you have commitments to your home. It was the most difficult thing to do. And I can only sum it up by using a smile to be able to encapsulate all of that, all of the things that you were forced to do to be normal while inside you were in turmoil.
So you spoke about being your thoughts being consumed with, to find ways or different ways that you would have been thinking about. Did you actually at any point in time reach to that stage? That
Oh, yes. Yes, I did. I did.
what
And
caused you to turn back?
and what I'm going to say, Gregory, I know you have a lot of people listening to you. This is not in any way to encourage anyone to even think of doing what I thought I wanted to do. This is about my experience, and I don't want people to be me. Okay? There's a particular bridge on the East Bank that I will pass every day. And as the thoughts grew, I saw that bridge as a way out, meaning that I could crash into it. And there was so many moments that I turned the handle, the steering wheel to get to it, ensure that I wasn't followed by any car or whatever. And that consumed me until one day I was about to turn the wheel when I knew it was clear. It was about 9 o'clock in the night. And I don't know, I cannot explain what deterred me, whether it's my left hand did not follow my right, so it was a right turn that I had to make into the bridge. I don't know, but at that moment something happened and prevented me from crashing into that bridge. And I stopped the vehicle. I stopped and I looked out and I came out and I thought about it. And then somehow I asked, why is death teasing me? Why is he encouraging me and get me enticed? And when I'm about to follow him, he's ungrateful. He has spurned me. You know, he doesn't want anything to do with me. Why would he be that ungrateful to me? Why did he allow me to take that plunge metaphorically? And I think in thinking like that, I was asking myself if there was another force working somewhere. There is a woman by the name of Norma. She's like a second mother to me. She's an Afro Guyanese.
Mm.
I grew up in front of her over close to 50 years, and she's a second mom to me. And I remember one day we were talking, and she said, "Son, this is before the car incident on the bridge." She said, "Son, I don't like how you're looking. Tell me what's wrong. Tell me." And I said, "No, no, no. I'm just having some, trying to deal with some stress and usual stuff." And she said, "Pray, just
Pray,
pray."
pray.
I said, "No, man, that thing don't work. It don't work. I've been praying for quite a while, and all of them going through, I'm praying, I'm not seeing anything." She said, "No, this is when you need to pray more, and you need to pray harder, and you need to pray consistent, and you need to pray sincerely, and you need to ask for strength." And I think that that night when my left hand did not follow my right hand to get that steering wheel into that bridge, I thought about her and I thought about what she said, and I thought as to whether the one who is more powerful had repelled it and told him that, you know, stay away. And somehow I find myself thinking along that line, and I started to pray. I'm not a religious person. I wasn't a religious person then, but I started to pray. And I think by praying, it started to move my thoughts away from
Mhm,
the
mhm,
morbid
mhm.
things.
Well, those, Niaz, and if you're not joining us on the Wake Up Guyana show here, we are tuned in with Niaz Suban. And Niaz is very well known across Guyana, a very popular character in the theater area. He's also a commissioner at the Ethnic Relations Commission. He's also an official at a state-owned media company there, and so I don't have to reintroduce you back to Niaz. And what I find, I must tell you, Niaz, on behalf of the rest of Guyana, that we want to say to you that we thank you very much for sharing your story. And this is an area that a lot of people don't want to talk about because it's very personal. But I think our country is moving in a direction now that we should not be ashamed. This is not something that you could keep within you. If something has happened, we look at stories all over, maybe in the United States, and see how people are coming out and talking. It's a way of healing. And I want to say that I appreciate it. But I want to ask you, um, are you in a better place now? And if somebody is watching out there or listening to us, and maybe they have similar kind of feelings, how could they put themselves in a better place, for want of a better question, if you may?
And I'm glad you asked that because it's not easy to explain in in one way because I can understand how people feel when you are like that. Nothing matters to you. So how do you move from a point from where nothing matters to where something has to matter? How do you move from one to the other? And it takes a combination of stuff. It takes one, a realization to come to the reality. If I'm just being redundant, sorry. To first of all accept that you have a problem, and that was my biggest mistake, Gregory. I denied that I had a problem. When to my own self, I denied it. I was reading and hearing of at one time Guyana was, as you said, the suicide capital of the world. I'm seeing all of these things, but I denied that I had a problem. I denied it to the almost to the end that I had a problem. So from that night, and then that night was not what not wasn't the end actually, because I felt if that wasn't going to work, I tried something else, and that didn't work either, right?
Hmm.
And then I realized, why is it not working? And because I started thinking, and I began to pray just before that, I realized something else is happening. Yes, I have a problem. Yes, maybe a message is coming to me to do something different, to not go down this path, to take a different path. So that's why my book is entitled Coming Back. So I'm coming back from a different place, a place that is dark. But it takes a combination of things. But first, one has to accept that he or she has a problem. One has to find strength, and it's not easy. Have to find strength to be able to reach out to someone. And the other point is that people around us, our family, our immediate family, our friends, our workers, and so on, they must be able to notice or spot signs. You work at a media outfit, you have friends there, colleagues. They know Gregory, how Gregory is. He has this particular disposition. So if 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, Gregory is looking different, is sounding different, then without intruding, you need to ask a question. Are you okay? Can you,
Hmm.
I'm here to talk to you. In other words, people need to reach out. But one of the biggest problems we have in the country, Gregory, is that from the time you use the word mental health or mental illness, people think that you're crazy. You must be in a madhouse. And I want to be very frank about that. That is not the only reason why people don't come forward. But in the society that stigmatizes you, it's a deterrent for people to want to reach out.
Right,
But
right.
I
Uh-huh.
believe, sorry,
No, you're right. You're right. I agree with you in that.
right. So you have to be able to find that strength. I just want to read another line I wrote about suicide. Fighting suicide is nothing but an emotionally draining war, a war that many have and will sadly fight alone. A war with metaphorically ceaseless carpet bombings and violent expressions that inflict untold damage. A war that very often results in casualties and unbearable sorrow. A war that must, however, be waged. In other words, we cannot give up. We may be in the darkest place. I was in what I believe to be the darkest place ever in my life. And I had to come out from that place. I had to find the strength to get myself out. I wasn't seeing any light. There was no light at the end of the tunnel. All I was seeing was darkness. There was nothing to hold on to.
Hmm.
Prayers, and then when I sought help, when I realized and I accepted that I do have a problem, I reached out after that friend would have reached out to me. I then reached out to professionals to get professional help, clinical help. And I'm grateful to those persons who worked with me for about 3 to 4 months every single day to pull me out of that dark place. So I had to accept one, I had a problem. I sought help. But importantly, Gregory, and to those who are listening to you who may be experiencing some of what I did, wherever you are, do not see that as the end. That is not the end, and that is not the only place you can be. If we use the story that we all know about the frog that thought that the sky was brown, and then one day somebody walked on the beach and stubbed his toe on a coconut shell, and the shell was removed, and then the frog is seeing something completely different
Hmm.
because he was under that coconut shell and think what was happening there is all that there is to it. No, what is happening to you is not all that there is to it. There's another place that you can be. That your coconut shell can be removed, but you have to have that willingness and that strength to be able to help others to help you remove that coconut shell. So it takes a lot of effort, but it can be done.
I thank you very much for that, Niaz Subani. If you're now joining us, and what we're talking about today here is depression and suicide. And Niaz has written a book, and he's hoping to get it published. I hope that you find some success. If there's anything, I could probably ask my guys them to do a story. I think this is a good Sunday story. And let me tell you something here. These hard topics that we're dealing with here, you would find it more because of the conservative society of Guyana that we've grown up into. People, it's not manly, it's not good to talk about these things. These are stupid things, madmen, and those are the kind of things that we keep looking at, that we say about people. Was it you have mental issues and so on, and just leave it there? No, 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 no. These are things that could affect, because when you look at Niaza, you look at Gildarie, for a couple of years, and I could tell you from my own experience, after the situation happened to my mom, I withdrew from my family. I stopped talking to my siblings, even my other families, my relatives, and so on. I was very angry. And then I woke up and I said, it started affecting my workplace. I was very short with my colleagues. I started, I wanted to come to work. I just did what I had to do. And there was, at one point in time, I did it kind of automatically. I came in, well, it was like a robot to work. I had to produce some stories, and that was it a couple of years back. Then I got up and it says, what am I doing? And I have a better relationship with my siblings. In fact, that they have been reaching out so much to me that I am in a good place. And I started doing things differently, finding time for the things that I like. Maybe read something, a book, just taking time out and walk around the yard and just go for drives. And I'm in a better place. My anger is not there anymore. So I want to say to you today that the Nias Suban coming forward, talking to us about something that would have been very personal to him, not even his family not knowing. I want to say that we respect you for that, and we applaud you for that, Niaz, that you have the courage to come forward. Of course, this conversation does not end here today. We want to bring you back, because we are going to probably bring our experts on, even maybe Dr. Bayo Harry and so on, and let us talk about this thing. What can you do as citizens? Because you might look at somebody, Niaz, very strong, very successful man there, an executive with a state company, and you would think that all is good and dandy, but it's not. He has his own internal struggles, challenges that he would have been dealing with, and it's very good that we tell those stories. I'm not afraid, because when it tells us, it's a form of healing for me. So Niaz, as in closing right now, unfortunately, radio shows and things like that, there is a
Yeah.
time limit. And so in closing, because I would want to bring you back, invite you over, you have a wonderful story to tell here. And although it might sound as if it's not a story, I think it's more of a lesson to the people of Guyana who are struggling, or who have struggled with it, and understand the place that you were in, and that you are in a better place now. Over to you in your closing comments.
Well, I am hoping that whatever I would have said and probably will be given an opportunity to say the future will help people. You know, there's the old adage that looks are deceiving. And all that you said about me just now, there are many others yourself. I would not have known about you had you not told me. So looks are deceiving. That smile is misleading, really, really misleading. So when we talk about fake news, a smile can be fake news because it's not telling the true story. And I'm hoping, I'm really hoping that family members and friends can look out for each other. Look out for each other. Be sensitive about it. Approach it from a very sensitive standpoint. But ask questions of your colleagues, ask questions of your family members. And those who are listening to me and who feel that they're in a very dark place, please do not give up. Do not give up. It is not the end. There is hope. There's a better place that you can be. I'm just encouraging you to reach for that strength within you. The strength is there. It is there. Reach for that strength. Hold on and don't give up.
Thank you very much, there, Mr. Nias Suban. I think I really am touched by his story today. Normally, we go very quickly with this program here, but we took a step back. And let me tell you, I think in closing here too, and I just believe this partnering with you, there are always warning signs that you could see from people. Like, for example, when that situation happened with my mom, uncharacteristically, she called me that Friday. I never forget it. I think it's 2013. And she says, I want you to come. Could you come and see me? I said, I can't come now, you know. And this is like a Friday afternoon, about 3 o'clock. She knows that I'm very busy there. She knows the kind of duties that I have. So she says, when could you come? I said I could come probably tomorrow. And I said I'd have to go tomorrow. 3 hours later, I received the message that she's at the hospital. So the point is, there are warning signs, and sometimes the story that came out of her is that she went to one pharmacy to pick up the carbon tablet, and if you know what the carbon tablets, it's rat poison kind of. That's what it is. You take one whiff of it, and the rats fall because that's how strong it is. She took 4 of that. She went to one pharmacy, couldn't get it, and then she took the taxi and went to another pharmacy. So, you know, when you've made up your mind and that this is the direction that you want to go in, there's nothing stopping you, whether it's a gun, whether it's a car, whatever it is. But they are warning signs that could tell you that something is wrong. And if you are in tune with your family, with your loved ones, with your friends, with your work colleagues, whoever it is, they're not looking right. There's nothing wrong with us as human beings, as people who love each other, and we are good people in this country, to reach across and say, hey boy, what's happening? We could do that. So Niaz, thank you very much, my brother. We will be
Thank
touching
you for
base,
having me.
and best of luck with your book. I hope that you get it published. If you don't, get back to me. I think there's some trees that we'd have to shake there. All right?
Thank you, my brother. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you very much. And so that has been a very uplifting story there, a story that we should all pay attention to as we go down and we have serious conversations about moving this country forward. These are topics that are going to be coming forward. So thank you very much, Niaz. And it is 2 o'clock right now, and it's your insurance time, a better value for better protection. Get your ship and cargo covered just today. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. at 121 Regent and Nornock Streets to better serve you. You can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. Telephone 225-1787 or 269-0020. And so that's CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. It's 2 o'clock. We head straight into our people's business today because this is the Wake Up Again show on Kaieteur Radio. And so that, every time I think about the stories with suicide, depression, it really gets at me because, it bring back memories, but it's part of the healing for us here. So let me tell you what are some of the things that our people are concerned about. The pipe at the post office street still needs to be looked at. GWI post office street in Grove there, the people are saying, and the Grove East Bank Demerara, that there's a pipe that is broken there and has been for several weeks, maybe months, and not getting it fixed. What's happening? We need to get it fixed. Hi, Leonard. Please advise the Commissioner of Police and the crime chief that it's not men alone that commit crimes. No man would have changed a boy blood pants after he was killed nor cut his throat. West Bobby's clan killing. And so, thank you very much for that. I'm not too familiar with that situation there. What I'm going to read up on that. So before we head to our lines 226-7453, let me just read a couple of messages that we have here. I'm not sure what's happening with this phone. Could you try to fix it? Do we have a caller in line there? Could you check if they have a caller in line there? Yes, good afternoon, caller. No, we don't have a caller. 2267453. If you're now joining us as the Wake Up Guyana show with Leonard Gildarie here on Kaieteur Radio, and we coming to you live from our Saffron Street studio. And so right away, let me say good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie, and to Mr. Niasaban. Men hard at work, government widening the Saudi public road in front of the Saudi hospital. I'm happy to see this kind of progress in Region 2. And so here it is that while we complain about other things, we have one person from Escribo Coast, the Saudi area there, saying that they are happy that there's some works that's ongoing. Yes, there are good things that we could say, thank you, Lord, or let's say thank you, government, or thank you, opposition, that you have done something, you've taken the initiative, or it's a duty and it's happening, and we like to see development. So that's good news there. Somebody's happy. Hi, Leonard, good afternoon. Do they, people start change 25,000, do they have to come back with a ping form to fill out? Let me see. Are they coming back? Do they have to come back with a pink form to fill out in Region 5? No. If the people are there in Region 5 at the moment, and they come to your house, and there are more than one families living in the house, whether it's via tenancy or maybe the families are just living there, one upstairs, one downstairs. They fill out the pink form right away. Maybe if they don't have the pink form, they'd come back, but in cases they're supposed to have those pink forms. I totally agree. This is another one now. I totally agree with Mrs. Suban. I was in the same place when my only child's son lied to me saying that he was going to work. And when I found out he was living with a woman 7 years older than him and was living home with seven different men. It hurt so much, and I was so depressed that I wanted to kill myself. I sat down one day and decided to go and get counseling, which helped me greatly. I thank you very much for sharing this story. I hope that you are in a better place, and that story there would have put us in a better place, because when you see prominent people are actually coming out and they're saying that, look, we have suffered, we have our own challenges. It uplifts us. It gives us that kind of impetus, or if you say, that encouragement to not do the things that that are lingering in our minds. Thank you very much, Uncle Niaz. I am between 17 to 20 years old and currently battling depression and anxiety. It's really hard to live up to people's expectations, especially parents. Uncle Niaz was a great help. Thank you very much for that. I hope as a teenager that you are seeking the help that you're getting. Hi, sir. My friends asked me to send this to this text here. I think somebody sent me a text and then they deleted. Very proud of you for opening and talking about your life experience. Thank you. Hug to you. Somebody was saying that about me. Thank you very much for that. Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie. I'm a regular to the program. I'd like to say good afternoon to Mr. Niaz, someone, a person that I know for a long time, but I didn't know that he would remember me. But my father used to work with Uncle Joe. Kaieteur News asked Mr. Gildarie to call me via WhatsApp. Let me see. 23. Do we have a caller on line there? Yes, good afternoon, caller. You on the air, go right ahead.
Hello?
Yes, you on the Kaieteur Radio show, go right ahead.
Is that your radio?
Yes, it is. You're on to the Wake Up Guyana show.
Gildarie?
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir. So I got a problem here.
Could you take off your radio right away for me, please, before we continue?
Yes. Yeah, I got a problem with my neighbor.
Yes.
My neighbor have a drain, sea drain, okay? And me and she used to use the drain. And she told me, about 15 years ago, she told me that I wasn't using the drain anymore, that how she would make a concrete drain, okay?
I don't understand. The drain is in front of the yard, the drain is?
No, at the side, between the 2 yards.
Oh, so there's a drain between the 2 yards?
Yes.
And she's going to concrete that drain?
No, yeah, she told me she's going to concrete it about 50 years ago. She never do so. She never did that. She said, I must make a drain in my yard. I did so. So, about 3 months ago, what she did, she made her son pull the drain up. She drain up. And when the rain fall now, all the water run over in my drain.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And when I talked to her, the lady questioned me,
All right. I'm not sure if he lost that
took
call.
me to the court. She took me to the court. I
What's she
want
carried
to
to the
advise.
court for?
Yeah, so how I question and things like that. Yeah, it was yesterday my case.
So
I want.
what is the issue? What is it that you're asking us?
I asking you that where could I go to get justice? I went to the NDC, the sanitary come 2 times, tell her to dig the grave. She never did it.
Well, that's a
Until
very
now.
difficult. Thank you very much for that question. The NDC is the ultimate authority on that. With
Yeah.
regards to the court, I can't deal with that because the court, if you've been charged as a police matter, and if the matter is before the court
No,
has to handle it. But
yeah,
the
I'm not talking about the court, I'm talking about the NDC. The NDC ain't doing nothing.
Yes, well, that's an issue that we have right across this country. If you would have been with us for the last couple months or so,
Yes,
we've been cussing by the NDCs and the
yes,
RDCs and the main town councils. They don't know the job, and they have a very clear rule book as to what they're supposed to do, what they're responsible for. But it's obvious that we have a local government situation, and we have lost that call with that gentleman. Um, uh, we have a local government situation in which the NDCs and the others are not very clear what's the job and what's the job description. And I'm not sure why you would want to sign up to take over a job. You ask the people to vote for you. You signed up for that, and you don't deliver the services because you don't find the time to understand what your job description is, and maybe because of political linkages to a political party, and you don't want to anger the people in the area by raising taxes and so on. My point is that if you're signing up for something and you ask people to vote for you, that you should find out very early what is it that you're getting yourself involved in? And this is a story that keeps repeating itself every single day. People calling about this and about that because the NDC are not doing the job. And not only the NDC, our city council right in Georgetown, which is supposed to take care of the capital city, they have been wasting time over the years because they're fighting each other, and they forget the most important thing, to deliver services to the people. So today I sung very calm, and we're not quarreling a lot, but let's point it out. We have to we have to stand up and start waking up because this country belongs to us, and we allowing the people the tail to wag the dog. Because why? You as the Guyanese people don't seem to understand that you have the power, and I'm being very rude here. You have the power. I'm educating you there now, that you have the power to wake up and start telling these politicians, these little nitwits that are out there, that you're working for me, I'm not working for you, and you need to do your job. And if you don't do your job and you want to stand up and you want to be the big bad wolf, well, I have recourse. And the recourse that I have, I'm call the station. I'm going to call the radio station. I'm going to write to the newspaper. I'm going to write to my minister. I'm going to write to the RDC. And I'm going to tell them, and I'm going to publish it on Facebook so you could understand that you have your job to do. I want you to be very clear with that. You should know your power. So do we have another call in line there? Yes, good afternoon, caller. You're here. I think we would have missed that one there. So let's see what you could do. Good day. Could you tell me about the $25,000 for Linden? Because we from Wisborough, and you get a number for someone that we can contact because this is a blind man waiting for his own. Um, uh, uh, I'm not sure. Did the people go up to Linden? I understand that they went to Linden. If you get somebody that's up there, um, uh, the RDC or the NDC, could you ask them to make contact with them, with those people up there, because they were supposed to be liaising with the Ministry of Finance and the other staffers who are sharing out this money here. I need to know. You need to give me some other information. I understand that they were up in the area there, and I could tell you based on what I think it is. I'm going to read to you what Gildarie says that. She's talking about the COVID-19 money here, and she's saying that that between March and the August of this year, more than 5,000 persons lost a job as a result of the shrinking economy. She says we have finished 99% in Region 7, all the mountainous and riverine area. We finished Region 9 and 1 and 8. We're now moving to the coast, region 3 and 5. She didn't say anything about region 10 here, but I understand they went to region 10. And this gentleman here is saying that they did not give it to him. So I need to get some more information. You could just text me and let me know. Do we have another caller in line there? Yes, good afternoon, caller. You're in the air. Go right ahead.
This is Kaieteur Radio.
Yes, it's Kaieteur Radio. You're tuned into the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie.
Yes, it is.
Mr. Gildarie, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, sir.
I have a report. I saw the tell man. Live in an area called Myconi.
Yes, sir.
And I have a neighbor plant some 4x4 wall post from the GPL, post them. From one to the next one opposite by me there.
No, I don't understand. What did they do?
He plant some 4x4 wall post
Uh-huh.
from the government reserve up lining with the GPL post them, right?
Uh-huh.
And he plant almond tree in between.
Uh-huh.
And almond tree not go big now. And me, I have a shop. And when they drop the leaves, then I blow other commercial in the shop front. I report to the chairman for NDC. I wrote a letter to them. I know not that action. I got after the chairman at Region 5 at Wellington. And nobody did nothing to me until now. And this man, they said about this man. This man say, I shoot you, I'll chop you.
Yeah, that's what happened. We have big bullies in Guyana here. So here what you're going to do for me. You're going to write a letter to the NDC, copy it to the RDC, and send it to the newspaper. You need to send it. Email it. Have somebody email it to the newspaper. kaieteurnews@yahoo.com. And you name the NDC chairperson and whoever it is that you would have addressed the thing. Well, don't name. You can't name the man, right?
The biggest thing with the man, he said in dope.
Well, you need to report that or have somebody report.
I tell the police them come, and when the police come here, I get it from the yard. Every night today, you get 10, 12 of them young man, they ask for forgiveness, and all the world get talking about cussing people out there wrong, you know, why it's frightening.
All right, send that you need to send that in a letter to us, and maybe we could raise that with the police and so on. And that's a very sad thing. I'm really saddened at the fact that, you know, again, not the story, but the NDC not working, about the RDC is not working, huh?
When I tell NDC chairman, he tell me let me get your care stand for the field.
Because people want to do whatever they have to do in Guyana here and just believe that they could get away with it. I hear what you're saying. Just do that for me. Send it to us. And when I get that letter there, I'm going to send it off to the police and see how they can handle it. Who is the commander in that area there? Do you know?
No, me can't mean the commander too. I know my police station have a chap by the name Atali in charge of my police station.
Afani?
Atali, yeah.
Oh, Mr. Atali. Could you go to Mr. Atali and make a complaint?
Yes. Sure.
Tell him that you spoke to Gildarie and the Kaieteur Radio and the Kaieteur News, and they advise you that you should come and air your complaints there, because he's supposed to represent the people. Let me know how it works.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much. I want to say good day to the folks down there in the Myconi area, and it's getting on to about 2:15. We're going to read some comments here very quickly, because you know a lot of people have been texting us on 6222222. We are going to open back the lines in a very short while again. 226-7453. Let me see what is it that people say. Is there a 24/7 suicide prevention hotline in Guyana that's available to everyone? I'm going to have to find out. I think they were moving in this direction. Let me see what this person thinks. Hi, sir. My friends asked me to send this text. Her dad is 87-year-old and he has stroke. She'd like if someone could assist her with a wheelchair. Thank you very much. Let me see. Wheelchair. That's 6. Okay. 4, 7, 3, 10. I'm gonna send this to somebody, and somebody's gonna call you on that with a wheelchair. Thank you very much for reaching out to us. I'm left so worried after returning yesterday from Kitty Rosary, where the woman in charge... Rosary? What is a rosary? Kitty Rosary, where the woman in charge is sharing out pension book, didn't wear a mask throughout the day while attending to the scores of pensioners. Did anybody take any pictures of this? Well, you know, this is a story that's being replicated across the country of persons not doing what they're supposed to do. They're not taking precautions. At the post office a couple of weeks back, I had to intervene with a number of persons who were in front there to collect their pension books, and they were they were in front of the post office here, and there was very little control. So you know, I'm not sure how do we do this if the authorities, the ones who are being taught that they have to protect the others, that they're not taking those actions. Do we have a call in line? We don't happen to have one right now. We are going to come back. So good afternoon, my brother and your family in the radio station and everybody across Guyana. Hope you guys had a great Diwali. I have a question. What is the police doing with all this dangerous driving? Well, that's a very good question. What is it that they're doing? We don't know. Hi, good afternoon. I'd like to make a contribution here. I think the government should set up some recycling machines countrywide, and this will help our environment to be cleaner. When people know that they could make some money on empty bottles, they will sort through them, and the country will make a better place, will be a better place to live in. Thank you very much. I did see a U.S. company is here. Met with, I think, Minister Juan Edgel, I think, yesterday, and what they're doing, they're talking about using waste plastic that have been dumped to produce fuel. So I'd love to see something like that happen. Recycling again, it's a topic that we should be talking about. Do we have a call in line? Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Yes, Mr. Gildarie.
Uh-huh.
Yes. I'm from Crosby.
Strathspey on the East Coast. Yes, go right ahead.
Yes. If you get any ID with this title, getting over, me want to change the title, my name to my son name. What am I going to do?
You got to get a lawyer. Get a lawyer right away and start talking to that lawyer, and that lawyer would advise you what to do.
Okay.
Yes, it's a lawyer that you would have to talk to.
Because they will kill me and my wife name.
Pardon?
So it's between me and my wife name, I want to put in my son name.
Yeah. You got to get a lawyer. The lawyer would know the paperwork and what they got to do. They would charge you a fee, of course, but it's only the lawyer who would be able to handle that.
But it's not too old because after 10 years I can sell.
Pardon?
After 10 years then I can sell the paperwork.
Right. But you could do a gift of deed to your kid. And so if you have a son or a daughter or something, you could do a gift of deed, and you could probably be able to do that. All right?
So I got to the lawyer.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. So I want to say good day to the folks wherever you are joining us right across Guyana here, and of course overseas. How is the New York people doing? I understand that you're headed for another lockdown there, and of course Canada and the rest of the Europe and wherever you're joining us from. When I say rest of Europe, those folks in Europe, rather, across the Caribbean here, our neighbors Trinidad and all across the Caribbean, we have so many persons being tuned in so many different ways, listen to us, and we have people in Tortola. Lady called me, I think yesterday or this morning, from the Mahike area, Providence here, and says she has her sister in the Virgin Islands tuned in every single day, and she believes that I am her adopted son, the lady from the Virgin Islands here. So when she comes here, I think I'd have to meet her, make it make it my duty to go reach her. Somebody says, "Good afternoon, Leonard. Good afternoon to you, my dear. I hope that you're having a wonderful day." Could you? Do we have another call? Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead. Hello. Hello. I think we would have lost that. If you're calling us, make sure that your volume of the radio is down. That's one, and that you're all ready to engage with us at this time. Let me see. Minister Ben, Grove Police Station need a vehicle. The people in the Grove area talking about vehicles. I think the president would have announced that they are moving to procure 50 vehicles to the police force. I hope that they're able to get it to the people in Grove there, because they're asking. If you're tuned in to us now, it's a Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio. I'm not sure, I seem a little down today. I had about 4 hours sleep last night. I had so many work to do. So I am a little muted today, not as as lively as I normally am, and so the people are a little muted too because of maybe the weather out there or something. Do we have a call in line? Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Hi, Mr. Gildarie. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, ma'am.
I'm
How are you
calling
doing?
from Good Hope.
Good hope on the East Coast. Yes.
That's right, sir. My view is to say a few words about this pandemic.
Yes.
Using people clothes or buying second-hand clothes, is it possible or impossible? It is good.
In the pandemic time, well, the pandemic, if you're buying clothes, there is a like about a 2 weeks. That's why they put you in a 2 weeks lockdown or so. If you buy it, you don't know when the last time that they would have had it. But buying second-hand clothes or generally everything, you're supposed to wash them. Even if you buy from a boutique or a store or so. But second-hand clothes, I think as long as you wash it, I don't think there should be any issues. The problem is if that person, if the clothes, if
You
they
don't,
collect it.
you don't know if that person
Well, it's like any
have
other
the
store,
virus
right?
because you
It's like
can't
any.
even shake a person's hand. You're
Right,
scared.
we supposed to because you could even go into a normal boutique or a place down Regent Street, and you could
They
buy
have
something
them.
there, and you
Sorry
have
to
it.
cut you, but they have a lot of them selling at Mondrepo Market, about 10 to 12 stand, selling on Saturday,
Uh-huh.
and people buying and towels and underwear and these kind
People
of
selling
things, which
used
is very
underwear.
bad.
There's a
But
used underwear too.
yes, everything, pants, short pants,
The
not
more.
underwear, not
Okay, okay.
underwear.
Because I was just about to say, the more you live, the more you learn. All right.
hmm
But I agree with you.
Some
Look,
things look like underwear, but
there must be tights or something.
hmm
All right.
hmm
But here, if somebody is buying used clothes, the first thing, of course, you would go to the market wearing your mask and things like that, sanitize and so on.
I think it's not healthy. They should stop that though.
Well, different people, some people can't afford it. So, but I agree with you. If you can avoid it, if you can afford it and not buy used clothes, there's a lot of people who could barely afford to get a proper meal at
Because
the end
it's
of the day.
clothes, it's clothes from overseas,
Yes, yes, yes.
overseas directly, because you could know them from the smell.
Yes, yes. There's a lot of people who are dealing with that. But let me tell you right away, you need to protect yourself. There's no other. You can't duplicate that. You must protect yourself. There's no other situation which I could envision, which says as when you buy something, you go anywhere, make sure that you put your fruits outside. You keep it. If you gotta buy the used clothes, I can't tell people not to buy it because
Yes,
that may be something they could afford. If you could avoid it, maybe you could. But at the end of the day, wash,
yeah.
wash. Keep yourself clean. But it's a very good
Bleach.
point, though. I thank you very much for that.
Okay, Mr. Clark. Thank you very much. I enjoy your program. I'm a daily listener.
I thank you very much. Thank you very much, my dear.
Yep.
All the way on the East Coast, right there. We have a lot of listeners around the Enmore, the Paradise, the Good Hope, Strathspey, and so on the East Coast. There are many persons tuned into the Kaieteur radio here. I want to say good day. I haven't said a good day for the longest while to even my home area there in the Grove Diamond area. If I missed you, it is because not that I've forgotten you, but there's so many other persons who love me as well, who love the radio station. But I'm just kidding you, dear. Sometimes there's so many persons tuned in, and they're sending us messages all along the way, and we have to remember all of them too. This program has become a part of our life as well, and I'm hoping to find somebody who could really assist me if I want to absent a day to do something else that they could continue it. If you know of somebody that we could who probably fit the bill, be it man or woman or something that could give the help to the radio station here, because this is a program that we want to continue. We want to make sure that we're in your face every single day, that we could be able to answer you, we could be able to criticize with you, we could be able to find solutions with you, and we could raise those issues that nobody else want to talk about, like this morning. Today, rather, we would have had depression and suicide. Good day. God bless you. My brother was there at one time, but thank God he has his hands on me. Thank you, my brother, for his story. And it's talking about Nias Suban on the suicide, on the depression issue. He make me cry. Where can I get a book to buy from? And he hasn't put out the book yet. I think Nias Suban is right now is looking for a publisher. It's not a cheap thing. Guyana does not really do that. So I think he's looking at his options. He put it out and I called him. I said, look, I need you to tell your story because when I see things like this, I want people to know that you're not alone, that you have people out there who care, people who want to see their Guyanese brothers and sisters in a better place, that we are all working to make this country into a better country. We are saying to our politicians, we're saying to our leaders, we're saying to our NDCs, our doctors, everybody, let's all work together. It's not about whether you're black, whether you're Indian, whether you're Amerindian, whatever it is. We all Guyanese at the end of the day. When you go to the States, they see you as coloureds, they see you as from another place. But at the end of the day, when you present to them that passport, it will be one passport that is from Guyana. So you're all Guyanese at the end of the day. Let that be a lesson to you. Thank you very much. So before we go back to the lines, good afternoon, sir. Is it true that you have to pay $5,000 for a tin certificate? No, I don't think it's so much. I think it's about $1,000. If you need a replacement, I think that there's a bigger fee that you would have to pay. A replacement is about $5,000. I'm gonna have to find out a little about it. And so let me see. It's Monday. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Do we have a call in line? We don't happen to have a caller. You're tuned into the Kaieteur radio here. Let me see. Derek is normal every single day. Leonard Namaste, thank you for sharing your life experience. Your guest was very eloquent regarding his fight with suicide. Sir, life is a song worth singing, but at times we face with such difficulties that it can take us over the edge. I pray for the world to be a better place, but it's up to us individually to open up and seek help. Do not be ashamed of your problems. You're not the only one suffering, and I thank you very much for that, Derek. I'd have a preference for somebody to come up and ask me for money or ask for some help. Do not steal. And I think that there's a point to what Derek is saying, that we should not be ashamed of the situation that we may find ourselves in. If you've lost your job, and I think many persons, 5,000 persons losing their job between March to August, according to the government. And when you would be in a situation where I have received calls on a daily basis that the people would tell some sad stories. You hear some stories that would make your skin, that your hair would stand up on your hands. And I worry about the kids who are out there who are left at the mercies, because, you know, when you have domestic issues, because the husband is not bringing in, tempers would be short, the kids are watching, so there's a whole pandemic issues or pandemic issues that are coming out here, that people mentally, we're not in a good place. When this pandemic, I hoping that the next year we could put it behind us, but I guess we'd have to be, as some persons would be saying, that we'd have to be living in a new reality, the new real. With the pandemic, there's a new world that's going to come out, that's going to emerge from this. There's a new set of entrepreneurs. There's going to be a new set of jobs being created. Right about now, you're seeing it in Guyana. People, delivery is a big thing in Guyana. You are going to see people doing things differently. If you want to enjoy yourself, maybe bars are not going to be it. Maybe outdoor restaurants is going to become the thing that is going to be there. Maybe big wide open spaces is where things are going to be happening. So we're going to be living in a new world come maybe post the pandemic. Maybe next year we're going to see pandemic behind us. It's going to be a little while. The injections, the vaccine is coming within a few months. Let's hope that it brings down very quickly the figures that we're seeing right now, the surge that we're seeing. But right about now, we're going back to our lines. Do we have a caller on line? Yes, good afternoon, caller. You're in the air. You're in the air. Go right ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, Leonard.
Yes, it is. Go right ahead, sir.
I calling from Region 2, Essequibo.
Yes, sir.
We have in the road and on the Neiman Stamp. It's very, very bad when the train falls. The government change nothing and doing. The government come again, all the government.
What does the RDC say? Saying they're not saying anything?
Nothing, so nothing them and do.
I'm going to send a message now to Deodat Indar. Deodat Indar is the minister within the Ministry of Public Works.
So the road very, very,
what is,
very bad.
What is the name? Okay, let me get, what's the name of the road, sir?
On the Neiman Stamp, sir.
On the Neiman Sandpit. Okay, I'm sending this Sandpit. Need fixing. All right, I'm going to have a chat with the minister a little later. I've done that. I've sent it out to him. So thank you very much for that. How is that Scribble course? How is the people? How are the people?
We getting rain, sir. Rain falling right now.
Is that affecting the rice crop or the sowing or so at this point in
No,
time?
no, no. No. Right now, the farmers plowing the field and shine back the paddy.
Okay, they are. You're a rice farmer too, sir?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much for calling and thank you very much for tuning in to the Kaieteur Radio here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I want to say good day to the people down on the Essequibo coast and the Pomeroon area. I hope that the water is going down in those areas that are flooded. I did speak to the minister this morning, Minister Nigel Darmlal, and he says that they're monitoring the situation in the Pomeroon area because some people would have texted us and they're asking that the government look into the flooding in certain parts of the Pomeroon, especially Marlborough and so on. You did ask, and I did reach out to him, and he says they're monitoring the situation. They're doing an assessment at the moment, maybe seeing how many areas are affected, how many families, and so on, and they would come up with some strategies to deal with it. I think that's what I understand, what it means by assessing of the situation. So we go back to a couple of texts that we would be receiving here now. Let me see. Yes. Hey, somebody say hey. I'm going to say hey to you too. Good afternoon to you, sir. I hope that all is well with you. I started listening to your program 2 weeks now. I found it very informative. I think I'm addicted to this program. Anyhow, I'm tuned in from work at the Ministry of Education of Brigham. Do keep up the good work, sir. Do stay safe. I want to say good day to the Ministry of Education, to all the teachers, to everybody involved in that business there. And you know, that sector there, I went with the kid, the little son, to the school this morning to collect his workbook. A couple people in Region 2, Region 3 would have been complaining about access to those books that the ministry would be handing out, the workbooks that the students are getting, those students who don't have access to the internet and so on. And also, even if you do have access, you have access to those books. And so walking in there to that school that was so very empty, that you realize that we are in a different time right now. It's almost as if we're in the twilight zone because of this pandemic. So many things we have to do differently. But I want to say before I go back to the lines again, that as a people, you have to start thinking, what is it that we could do different? If you know that you're buying greens and it's a big part of your budget and you have your yard, start planting. You could plant some peppers, you could plant some basil, you could plant some thyme, you could do some callaloo. I don't have to tell you what's it. I have a banana tree in my yard, and that banana is one of the best apple bananas that you could ever think about. One of the biggest two long hands of banana, and I give it out to people whenever it bears and whenever I cut it. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at that little square patch that I have, and I have to do some growing. We did do some balange. The balange started coming out, and the dogs decided that the balange is always good, or the grass is green on the other side. Jump the fence. We can't figure out how to do it until the night I decided to look at the cameras, and they were standing up on the little concrete strip that they have there and make one flying leap over the little short fence that they have into the garden. And they did some destruction there. Of course, they got some licks for it, and they went back the next night again. You can't teach dogs new things, they say. Well, I'm not sure they learned of themselves. So very good day to you wherever you are joining us. It's always such a good pleasure. So much happiness that you guys bring to me every single day on the program here. And today, of course, was a little emotional listening to the Saban tell his story there, and you could see that he was muted to telling his story there. It's not easy telling some personal story. Me, I'm a little hard back that I could be able to say some things now. Not afraid anymore. I used to be very conservative. I don't like to share emotions. I interviewed Bar Jack there for the first time. I think it was last year before election. The first time that I ever came on radio or I think on this radio, Kaieteur Radio, sat down with him, and when I interviewed him, and there was a lot of the I would say the fear of the mic, and after a couple of things on March the 2nd when I came on, I said to heck with that, I'm gonna fight it, And gradually the fear was overcome. Right about now, I think I talk too much, so we go back to the lines. Do we have a call in line? Yes, good afternoon, caller. You on the air. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Pretty good, man. What's happening?
I am okay. I must say kudos to Mr. Saban for being as outspoken as he was about his condition and how he felt. And it's a problem that I see a lot because of my area of study in society. I recently lost a friend, and I am every day when I remember him, I beat up myself because I remember seeing two signs and I ignored it because I was so caught up in my own self. And the reason for me saying that is that those of us who call ourselves people's friends, it's more than drinking buddies, it's more than just playing sports, it's where we need to support each other. Without people saying, we just observe and see what is going on, then help them. Many people are struggling. When we see people do things, we say, well, I didn't expect that about him. But many, many people are struggling. And we passed over this like it's a normal thing. To see somebody, in my mind, as the stature of Mr. Saban, who seems to me to have it all together and didn't have it all together, tells us all that we need to be our brother's keeper, not just by drinking beers and playing sport, but we really need to be there and be a shoulder to lean up our brothers and our sisters because we all go through tough times. And sometimes it seems the easiest way out to not be here. But if we allow people to know that we are there for them regardless of what, we are their friend regardless of what, and society needs to start looking out for its own. That's all I have to say. I got no contribution. This story touched me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my brother. And you're right. And this country here, when it comes to protection of our own, when it comes to protection of our assets and understanding this, I could put it in a very simple analogy when it comes to making what this country means to us or what it should mean to us. If you are patriotic Guyanese, and as I get probably older, I could probably say things that mean a lot to me. And that gentleman there was always strikes the nail on the head so very appropriately. When you have this country here, it's like a home. This is our home, and that's the reality of it. Rupununi savannas, the back dam that we go fishing in, the East Bank, the highway, the creeks that we go to, the Berbice people, Blackbush Polder, when you go into the back dam to mine a cow, the cows and the sheep and so on that you have there, those are our property. The seawall that we go there, those are our properties. So well, I say this to you because you got to understand that when you're not angry with when people litter it, then you're not treating it as if it's your home. You won't want anybody to come throw garbage in your yard, the beautiful yard that you've tiled, or if you can afford it, or you've just built your house, put up your fence. You don't want nobody to come do that. So why are you shutting him out? And why are you allowing other people or your own countrymen to do the destruction that they are doing to this country? Now, I bring that point up to you because we have sat down and we were allowing, and I told somebody this morning, and I told them in the last couple of days too, that one of the biggest worry that I have, and it's going to happen within the next couple of years, maybe as early as next year, that you're going to see some marked difference in our way of life with the people that we have in Guyana. Because we're going to wake up in the next 2 years and we're going to realize that there are more foreign Guyanese in Guyana than the persons born in Guyana. Do you know what I mean by that? Right about now, it's as easy as anything. You come here, you live 5 years, you can apply for citizenship. You understand what I'm saying to you? So we have 40, 50,000 on the lower end of the conservative end of estimates of Venezuelans here. We have thousands of Brazilians here. I'm not quarreling about that. What systems do we have in place when it comes to ownership of properties? Because all citizens can. What systems do we have in place to ensure that we have the monies, we have all the different regulations in place that's going to ensure that our education system grows, our health system, they're capable of handling the influx that is going to come in. Yesterday, I think it was that Minister of Public Works, Juan Edgel, would have gone on the East Bank there. And he would have been walking on the Sea Dam, I think, in Horstellin. And they have a problem right there. They can't send the HIMAC or the excavator onto the seawall area there. When I say seawall, river dam area there, to clean some of the drainage. Why? Because people built shacks on it. And that is one of the issues that we have when you don't have the rule of law, you don't have systems in place, you don't have structures. You're heading to a very chaotic situation. So you're gonna get ready. Like what I'm saying to you, the oil and the gas and everything, because people are fleeing Venezuela. Venezuela has very little to offer, and they're not gonna recover in a very short while. That's the reality. I reached up with a couple of people about a week or two back. There's so many Trinidadians over here setting up business. Contractors are coming here. Hardware stores are coming here. Oil operators are coming here, and they're doing business. They're going to make children here because they're going to be living here, and their kids are going to become Guyanese. I don't need to tell you about the other things that are going to happen. So you got to start thinking. So if you have properties, don't sell them. Hold on to them. Property values are going to go up. You see, this pandemic, yes, we have had a little stumble. It's going to go behind us eventually. Yes, there's going to be a different way of life. But you hold on to your property, hold on to your mining lands, hold on to your forest concessions. Demand a little more from your goal or more from your goal. Demand that your politicians start protecting this land. Because when it comes to what we have here, you may not have it in another 10 years. Because when you have our natural resources, it will be exploited. I say no further than that. I want you to think about it. I want you to chew on it. You can make money because when you go to places like St. Martin or so, the locals sit back and they rent the places out and they make money. They don't work. You go to places like Saudi Arabia and I think it's Dubai and so on. The people that are living there, they live very comfortable there. You can't just go and take up citizenship. You don't ever get it. You can't get that there. So let us get our act together. Do we have another call in line? Yes, good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Yeah, hi, how are you, Leonard?
Pretty good, sir.
All right, the last caller, he would like to echo every sentiment expressed. However, I have to also say that it's not only applicable to Guyana, it should be applicable to places like the States and so where I live, because things are also tough here right now because of the impact of the COVID-19 and whatever we are going through right now. Because I can safely tell you I've been home for the past 42 days.
42 days. You lost a job.
Definitely did. And it's been really tough. I mean, and the thing about it, about the U.S., I mean, Niels can testify to this, is that the bills never stop coming.
Yeah.
Regardless of what, it's gonna still come. So, and with some of the things you expressed just now there about the people squatting and stuff like that, I echo that. I also call on the people in the Success area that would have illegally erected buildings there. I mean, I feel sorry for them. These are people who wanted to probably build their own house, but it should be done in a proper manner. I do not support what you call squatting all over the place. It should be regularized. Once again, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much, dear sir. And you know, that's reality for you. That's a one man living there, and he's right. Whether we like it or not, after you would have lost the job, the bills keep coming still in Guyana. I mean, we're trying. I think the government would have tried to get a couple of the banks to give you a little moratorium on some of the payments, courts and so on, because they realize that the people are going to be under pressure. I would love to see what happens after the banks can't afford it anymore. What does the government do? What is going to happen with the number of persons who've taken mortgages, who've taken loans, whose businesses have been closed, or they would have lost business during the shutdown and they can't get back on the feet? How are they going to deal with? They would have pledged their properties as collaterals when you go into the bank. asking for loans. Of course, if you're in a mortgage situation, lost your job, and I think there are many people like that. Persons are not talking about it, but we did have calls in the past, people telling us, how difficult it is. Every single day, people are not going to call on this radio program, but they are going to call your phone and says, Gildarie, what happened there today, what that person said, I can identify with it because I'm experiencing the same thing. So yes, today is a very serious day because as every day takes, we pass it and we hear some of the stories that are coming forward. We have to be very serious. We don't have time now to play. Yes, there's going to be, we want to have a little break and have a sit down and take a beer or maybe whatever it is that you need to relax yourself. But we have to start looking at this country. The clock is ticking all the time. People are coming into your country. They're doing business. They're making money. What is it that you're doing? How is it that you're uplifting your life to put yourself in the opportunity or the position of having that opportunity? Opportunities will knock. Are you sitting in the backyard eating, barbecuing, or are you putting yourself out that would give you the opening for the door to open for you to have those opportunities? Things are happening. The people in the country, they're flying in and they're talking business. What is it that you're doing? Do you have that opportunity? Yes, you have that opportunity. Maybe in a year time, I'm going to come back and tell you what I did this year. What I got up myself and what I did this year. I think although because of the pandemic, because of COVID-19, that many persons would have gone down. I took the opportunity and took some steps that would have placed me in a better position, not maybe financially, but because of what I did. And I'm waiting maybe a year to see where I'm at because I want to tell that story. And it is a story which teaches us that it doesn't matter what the situation. Let's not look at the situation as being very bleak, but how do you look at the glass? Is it half full or half empty? Is there an opportunity that arises? Big business people around the world would look at situation, at the worst of situation, and people would have made money. You look at Amazon, for example. A lot of Guyanese people know what Amazon is. They would shop in America knows what it is because if you want to order something, Amazon is the one who's going to deliver it to you. Amazon made tons of money this year, and so did a couple of other companies with capitalized. Zoom is one of the upcoming thing that during this pandemic, because people needed to conference calls and things like that, they would have made money. So there are opportunities that arise, and you have to not sit on your hands. What is it that you're doing to uplift yourself and uplift this country? What is it that you're doing to open your mouth and say that I am not willing to take $25,000. I want $1 million. What is it that you're doing to uplift yourself instead of sitting there and you say that the world is the end? The world is not at the end. Go plant some garden. You might not like it. When Barnum had said that in the 80s, a lot of people got very upset with him. When he had banned a couple of things, people got upset with it. I'm still upset with him. But the way he went about it is what we should be upset about, because Barnum didn't give the people much of a choice, because at that point in time, maybe he didn't know that if it is that you're telling people to go plant, then you should make a financing available to them. Let's see, if you plant, where you're going to sell it to. So he provide the market, because you're telling people to go plant, and nobody's buying. Are you providing the overseas market? So many things to think about there. It's 2:50. Do you have time to take another call? Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead. Hello.
Hello, good day.
Good day, sir. How are you doing?
Not bad. Mr. Gildarie?
Yes, it is, and you are on the air at the moment.
Yes, Mr. Gildarie, my brother. I was calling to tell you about Mr. Lal, the boss.
Oh, Mr. Lal, the boss. Glenn Lal, the boss.
Mr.
Yes.
Glenn Lal, the boss. That man is a laborer, you know.
He's a what?
He's not a laborer.
I'm not hearing you.
He's not a laborer.
I don't know.
I feel he's a laborer like me, you know, with scale and weight. He's a balanced man.
Well, I can tell you, I wouldn't describe him as that. I think he's a very aggressive businessman who understands the world of business. And when he tells us some of the story, the rawness that he brings it across, it sticks in my head. So I've learned a lot from him, and he has his way of doing things. A very successful businessman.
Because Mr. Gildarie, let me tell you something. That man, he has nothing against nobody. He talks the truth. He talks the right thing, and people love him. He has been loved. And let me tell you something. What a man saying, Guyanese people are getting nothing, nothing at all. And Guyanese people are accustomed to punishment.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Guyanese people are accustomed to them patience and punishment. You find that Guyanese have it.
I thank you very much. I will make sure that I convey your sentiments to Mr. Glenn.
Yes, I send that. And Mr. Gildarie, the number that you give me for Mr. Lal, when I call in the number, your co-party is not available.
Well, sometimes I 2258491. I think you could probably ask the switchboard there to link him up. The guy is so busy all over the place. I'm not sure what's happening.
8491, you can link up with it.
This is Mr. Glenn.
Yeah, but you've been giving a number, cell number, we ain't getting through with it.
Call me afterwards because maybe that's the same number that I give.
Yeah, and you know, night time when I got a program, calling program,
Yeah.
I just call up on my cell phone because it's at work. But we ain't getting through with the cell phone.
All right. Yes, I think they're thinking about that the call-in program. I'm gonna raise the issue with him though. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you to me, brother. Take care.
Yes, thank you very much, dear. So, all the best to whoever tuned in to us today. It's always a pleasure. It's always good. And I did miss a couple of people who would have been sending us messages. Let me see. Hi, Mr. Gildarie. About the topic suicide, I'm not too much in agreement to the topic because I believe in God. It's said in the Bhagavad Gita that one who takes his or her own life, no worship should be performed. But in today's society, this is a lots of ups and downs in the life. That does not mean that we have to blame the government for that. We have to blame ourselves for that. You know, and you have a point there, but let me tell you something. Not everybody might be strong like a Gildarie. Not everybody might be strong like the president of Guyana. Not everybody would be strong like W.I. Riaz or whoever it is. They are going to be people who, because of situation, can't handle it, and that's why they would buckle. That's why you have managers, you have leaders, you have followers. And so whatever it is that you're going through, talk to somebody. I hope that today has been uplifting. I hope that we've been able to teach you something. I hope that you would have had something to chew on, to think about as we move forward in this beautiful country of ours. It's a Wake Up Guyana show. I was a little quiet today in my attitude. Tomorrow I'm going to be back full of energy again. Drink some Gatorade or something that is going to boost the energy levels up. And that's as a result of not sleeping too much last night, too much work that I had on my plate. So we come to the program time now. If you've missed the show here, we would have been coming to you live from our Saffron Street studio here in Charlestown. And you could get us back on Kaieteur Radio on YouTube or Kaieteur Radio live stream on Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube or Kaieteur Radio on Facebook. We would have been coming to you on 99.1 in Esquivel and Demerara, 99.5 in Berbice, and wherever you have been would have been joining us from. I want to say thank you very much. As always, it's been a pleasure. And to the folks overseas, thank you as always. It is good to know that you're keeping us company. We are now going to be tuning out. We're going to be back. Same place, same time tomorrow, and maybe you could send us some questions or some issues that you want to tackle as we continue to move this country to the next level, to educate you, to take you to the next level, to raise the bar, so to speak. Have a pleasant rest of the day.